Right now, the White House is preparing to send out more than 100 million rapid coronavirus tests across the country, where they're going and how they'll be used.
Plus, we're just hours away from the first presidential debate. What issues the leading presidential candidates plan to speak on?
And we're tracking the potential for frost as we head into the weekend. I'll have that detail in the First One forecast.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining us on your Tuesday, September 29th. I'm Leah Lynchide, along with Josh Sprider. Chris Stanford is on paternity leave this week. More than 1 million people across the world have now died from COVID-19, according to the official count at Johns Hopkins University.
But the World Health Organization says it fears the death total may actually be much higher. According to Reuters, the WHO's top emergencies expert says, if anything, the current numbers are underreported. He also says there likely never will be a true count of the number of lives lost to the disease.
A recent Harvard study says Wisconsin is one of 4 states that needs to go back into lockdown right away. It comes as the number of daily cases continues to increase across the state. It started when students went back to college last month. Those numbers have slowed, and other age groups are now taking a hit. We do have mask mandates and capacity limits in place, but people are still testing positive. One local infectious disease expert says the precautions should work, but only if people actually follow them.
If we did it, it would work. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but if we did it, it would work. We aren't close to the end. It is not magically going to go away.
Dr. Graham says ignoring the problem could lead to a worst-case scenario. Wisconsin ranks 3rd worst in the country right now for new cases.
For a 5th day in a row, more than 2,000 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in Wisconsin. There were also nearly 50 new hospitalizations and 3 more deaths. DHS officials report 1 in 5 new tests came back positive in the last 24 hours. That's a rate of 21.9%, making it the 3rd consecutive day we have seen 20% or higher. Meanwhile, a conservative law firm is calling for a judge to immediately put an end to Wisconsin's mask mandate. It argues Governor Evers doesn't have the authority to issue such an order. Attorneys for the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the request in Polk County Circuit Court for an immediate injunction to declare the order invalid and void. A court hearing is scheduled for Monday to consider this motion.
Starting next week, the Wisconsin National Guard will no longer be conducting tests at the Alliant Energy Center. Public Health Madison and Dane County will be taking over in that role as the Guard is deployed elsewhere. Tests will still be free. People can still pre-register or just show up. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi says the county has a goal of providing 10,000 tests a week.
Now is critical. It's always been important, but particularly since we've been seeing such an uptick in cases and we're moving into the fall and the winter where we're very concerned about the possibility of that second wave coming and maybe even more cases than we experienced earlier.
There will be new hours when the county takes over. The testing site will be open Tuesdays through Saturdays. The state will reimburse the county for the cost of those operations.
A new effort announced by the White House is sending 150 million rapid testing kits out across the U.S. this week. A third of those, according to the president, will be going to communities that need them the most.
18 million for nursing homes, 15 million for assisted living facilities, 10 million for home health and hospice care agencies, and nearly 1 million for historically black colleges and universities, and also tribal nation colleges.
The rest of the tests are expected to be divided up among the states based on their population. Once delivered, it will be up to the governors and how they're used. The first round of deliveries, more than 6 million tests, are expected to be sent out sometime this week.
New reports from the New York Times this morning detail alleged pressure from the White House to the CDC, asking the agency to downplay the risks of sending kids back to school. Documents obtained by the Times say the Trump administration spent weeks pushing public health officials to come up with data that supported reopening schools and the economy as quickly as possible. Former White House staffers say they were tasked with pressuring the CDC to provide those numbers and graphs to push that support. The CDC has not commented on the story, but has objected to many of the claims the administration has made about how the virus affects kids.
With the uptick in COVID-19 cases, we're seeing many districts respond to positive cases by closing school buildings. One of those is the Partyville Area School District, where 2 cases were tied to the elementary and 1 to the high school yesterday. That district has been doing contact tracing and planning a deep clean of the buildings. The superintendent there says he's been preparing his staff, knowing there was a good chance they would need to transition to virtual learning at some point.
You know that face-to-face is what's best for kids. face-to-face instructions. So we're trying to do that, but also conscious of the fact that, yeah, we're in the midst of a COVID pandemic and trying to make sure that we keep everyone healthy. So it's that constant balancing act.
The high school will likely reopen Thursday after it was cleared by contact tracing, but the elementary school building will stay closed until October 12th.
6:05 on your Tuesday. Aaron White is here now with our first warn weather. It's a bit of a cooler forecast in store, Aaron.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're already seeing that this morning, and that's going to be the trend going through the rest of the week, right into the weekend, actually. As we look over Madison right now, we have clear skies and rather cool temperatures. A nice look at the Capitol this morning with those clearer skies, but clouds are going to be increasing through the day. Right now, 43 degrees to start off your morning. Definitely grab the jacket as you're heading out the door. All across southern Wisconsin, we are into the 40s. 40 degrees in Watertown and Juneau, 41 in the Dells and Baraboo, 43 in Monroe, 45 in Mineral Point. And if you're heading out to the bus stop, definitely want to have the jacket for the kids this morning. 45 degrees to start off. We eventually will warm up into the 50s, so not really warm, but 58 degrees will be your high for today. A few spotty showers coming in for the afternoon. That's going to be the trend for Wednesday into Thursday, along with some rather cool temperatures, staying about 10 to 15 degrees below normal through this week and into the weekend. And also looking at that potential for some frost here, widespread frost across southern Wisconsin going into Saturday morning. No frost across the area this morning as we are into the 40s. We are also dry, but eventually we will be tracking some showers this afternoon as we see those clouds increasing through the day. Here we are at lunchtime. Temperatures into the lower 50s as we see the wind out of the northwest. It's going to be fairly breezy this afternoon as well, ushering in those cooler temperatures. But notice future track trying to pop up a couple showers this afternoon. Really not going to amount to anything, and eventually we will see another round of showers coming in by Wednesday morning. But I think on Wednesday we should get a little bit more sunshine. And as I mentioned, rainfall amounts are going to be on the lighter side. The big story, though, that trough building in for the end of the week. That's going to bring those cooler temperatures and that potential for some frost as we see our temperatures dropping down to about 33 degrees as you start off your Saturday morning. I think some of us actually will be dropping down into the upper 20s by Saturday morning. And look at those highs of only 50 degrees on Friday and Saturday. So basically that just means we're going to be stuck in the 40s all day.
Okay, but next week looking beautiful, right?
Look at you with the silver lining.
I'm trying. Second cup of coffee, you know, I'm finding the bright side. Aaron, thank you.
Sure thing.
6:07 now. The debate over the Supreme Court will move to Capitol Hill this week, with Republican leaders already laying out a timetable for the confirmation process. The president formally announced his nominee, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, at the White House Saturday. Now she's expected to begin meetings with individual senators this week. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham announced confirmation hearings will begin October 12th. They're expected to last 3 to 4 days.
The widow of GOP Senator John McCain is joining Joe Biden's transition team. Cindy McCain announcing her endorsement of the Democratic presidential nominee last week. The campaign now says McCain will bring experience as a businesswoman, philanthropist, and longtime advocate for women and children. She's the second registered Republican to join Biden's camp after former VA Secretary Bob McDonnell. President Trump will be back in Wisconsin this weekend for a pair of airport visits. According to Trump's campaign, the president will visit the La Crosse Regional Airport at 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. And then on Sunday, Trump will travel to Green Bay, where he's scheduled to deliver a campaign speech at the airport there. That'll start at 6 p.m. It'll be the president's 6th visit to Wisconsin in 2020. We've also learned the president's son, Eric Trump, will be in Rothschild on Thursday.
President Trump and Joe Biden will face off for the first time on the debate stage tonight. It's taking place in Cleveland. It's formatted as a 90-minute broadcast with no commercials. Fox anchor Chris Wallace will moderate. There are 5 topics on the table: both candidates' records, the Supreme Court, the pandemic, economic policy, racism, and the integrity of the election. Each topic gets 15 minutes of conversation. You can watch it in a special report tonight on News 3 Now at 8 p.m. The Secretary of Commerce says despite a court order, the 2020 census will be ending on October 5th. A federal judge ruled last week that data collection for the census could go on until the end of October. The new October 5th deadline, though, doesn't technically violate that injunction because the judge only suspended the September 30th deadline for field operations. That deadline was first extended back in April because of the pandemic.
6:09 right now. Let's take a look at your first warn traffic on a Tuesday morning. If you're heading out across town right now, we've got no crashes or major incidents to report this morning. Only slowdowns we're seeing right now are really along the East Washington corridor right near the downtown area. Beltline, though, looking good, as so is Park Street and Stoughton Road this morning. As you're heading inbound right now, average speed on the Beltline around 64 miles an hour. All the drive times in the green today. That's your first warn traffic.
6:10 now. Coming up, we are learning more about the grand jury's decision on the Breonna Taylor case. Why one of the case's jurors is calling for more transparency in the court's ruling.
Plus, with CARES Act protections set to end later this week, how airlines are making a last-minute plea to Congress for more help. That's when we come back.
Adventurers run with Sloan. Save $500 on full-size and $300 on mid-size John Deere Gator XUVs. Plus, get 0% for 48 months. Get a John Deere Gator during Gear Up for Fall and
Powered up with Sloan. During Joe Biden's 47 years in Washington, Made in America was replaced with Made in China. Biden's bad trade deals put China first, and American workers paid the price. Millions of jobs lost to Mexico and China. Donald Trump is the jobs president. He helped create millions of jobs. Factories returned. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and women saw record gains. President Trump will always put America first.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Join Anytime Fitness on Tuesday, October 6th during our 12-hour sale and literally only pay what you can. It's our way of helping you get back to making healthy happen. Pay what you can on Tuesday, October 6th at Anytime Fitness.
As days get shorter, we're in the kitchen more than ever. And if there's never enough light where you need it, even simple tasks can be frustrating. Ready for great lighting? Visit the kitchen lighting experts at Madison Lighting. Their expertise doesn't cost more. And when your lighting is installed, kind of amazing. You'll love your kitchen in the right light. Madison Lighting, Watts Road, Madison.
If you're hearing a grinding or squealing when coming to a stop, it's time to have your brakes checked. Meineke's 23-point inspection will identify the problem and get them in working order. Stop in or make an appointment online today. Meineke, doing car care right.
He has his grandfather's smile.
Her mother's eyes.
My cheekbones.
But will she have my diabetes?
My sickle cell anemia.
His father's heart disease.
Go to joinallofus.org to share your health information and speed up health research breakthroughs. The future of health begins with you.
Donald Trump is lying again. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000. Biden will close tax loopholes for big corporations. Trump's tax cut giveaway exploded our debt, so he's threatening Social Security and Medicare. Biden will make the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share, so we can protect Social Security and Medicare and invest in schools and health care.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Autumn Adventurers run with Sloan. Save $500 on full-size and $300 on mid-size John Deere Gator XUVs. Plus, get 0% for 48 months. Get a John Deere Gator during Gear Up for Fall and
Powered up with Sloan.
Breaking overnight, Madison police are looking for two people they say were involved in an armed robbery. It happened just before 9 at the Stop and Go on Schrader Road near the Madison Ice Arena. Police say two men went into the gas station with semi-automatic handguns and demanded money. They say both suspects are in their mid-30s to early 40s. One wearing all black with green gloves and was about 5'4". The other was wearing white shoes, a black puffy coat, and green gloves. Police do have video of that incident and continue to investigate today.
Kentucky's Attorney General says he will comply with the judge's ruling by releasing the grand jury's transcript in the Breonna Taylor case. An anonymous grand juror filed a motion requesting all recordings, transcripts, and reports of the grand jury to be released to the public. The juror wrote to the court that there's public interest in that information because of distrust in the legal process. Attorney Attorney General Daniel Cameron says releasing the transcript could compromise the ongoing federal investigation. Despite those concerns, though, he says he will follow the judge's ruling. The former police officer facing the only charges in that case, meanwhile, pleading not guilty this morning. Last week, the grand jury indicted Brett Hankeson on 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment for firing blindly into Taylor's neighbors' apartments. The 2 other officers who fired their weapons that night were not charged. Hankeson was fired from the department in June. He's out on a $15,000 cash bond this morning. He'll be back in court at the end of October.
One of the nation's largest healthcare providers is recovering from a nationwide cyber attack this morning. Universal Health Services reporting an IT security issue forced its computer network offline. When Universal Health detected it, they took down all of their information systems. The company saying in a statement none of its patients' or employees' information appears to have been stolen. They're working to bring the network completely back online. Universal Health Services operates 26 hospitals, 42 outpatient facilities, and more than 300 behavioral health facilities. Right now, California's governor is declaring another state of emergency this morning for wildfires. This comes as the Glass Fire has already burned 11,000 acres in Napa County after starting on Sunday. So far, the fire has destroyed a winery, threatening 2,200 other buildings. More than 1,800 people have been forced to evacuate and about 5,000 others under some form of evacuation orders. The cause of that fire is not known yet. 2 new fires have broken out near the Glass Fire, also prompting mandatory evacuations in several areas.
In Colorado, the Cameron Peak Fire is just about 20% contained after burning 124,000 acres so far. Cold weather is helping crews battle the flames, but it's also bringing challenges because firefighters now have to add antifreeze to their pumps. Fire officials say a new crew will be working the Cameron Fire this week. Crews typically rotate every 14 days to rest with the family, but the current team has been in place for 3 weeks. Aaron White's been keeping an eye on the fires out west. How are they looking this morning, Aaron?
Well, unfortunately, not so good across parts of California as we still see that Glass Fire really burning across Napa Valley, just north of San Francisco. But still some of those fires burning in northern Colorado. Some of those are, like you mentioned, being contained about 20%. But across California, still a lot of active fires, even into parts of Oregon and Idaho. But as we look at our satellite from yesterday, I want to focus in on the actual the Glass Fire just north of San Francisco. You can see on the satellite the smoke really just kind of flaring up as that fire really started to spread across Napa Valley. That smoke right around Santa Rosa, just north of San Francisco. And unfortunately, that's going to continue because we're not really going to see much in the way of rainfall out across the west. If you look at some of those amounts of Eureka, really just very light amounts. So hopefully we can see a pattern shift because right now the pattern is keeping that ridge in place across the west. Seeing some rather warm temperatures, rather dry conditions. Meanwhile, here back in Wisconsin across the east, you can see that trough really digging down going into Friday, and that's going to usher in those cooler temperatures. So we are tracking potential for some frost going into the end of the week, into the weekend. 33 degrees, the overnight low for Friday night, Saturday morning. So get ready for it. And the other thing about tonight, if you want to check it out, we are going to see some clear skies for the first half of the night. So you might be able to see the northern lights. We had some pictures I saw on Twitter just a little bit ago from last night up in parts of Canada. So I think there is at least a potential here in Wisconsin that you may see that later on tonight.
All right, Aaron, thank you. At least 50,000 airline workers are facing furloughs this week as protections from the CARES Act are set to expire. The act provided a $50 billion bailout to keep U.S. airlines afloat. The bailout barred layoffs and voluntary furloughs or pay cuts for employees until October 1st, which is this Thursday. Airline officials insist that last-minute help from Congress could still keep those job cuts from taking place. CEOs and union leaders joined together last week to plead with Congress for another $28 billion in federal help from the airline industry, saying that without further intervention, 100,000 jobs will be lost. Meanwhile, United Airlines has agreed not to furlough any of its pilots until at least next June. That's according to a pilots union email. Originally, United had planned to furlough more than 2,800 of its 13,000 pilots when the pandemic payroll support expires. The company still plans to go ahead with around 12,000 furloughs of other employees on October 1st.
The pandemic continuing to hit the hotel industry hard. Many hotel employees are still out of work, and things are getting worse. as time goes on. Hotel occupancy is nearly 50% nationwide. 74% of U.S. hotels say more layoffs are coming if they don't get additional federal aid. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, meanwhile, said last week he and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have agreed to restart negotiations on another economic relief package, but there's no indication if or when that could be passed.
All right, coming up on 6:20 this morning and still ahead for us on this Tuesday, it is National Coffee Day. So if you need an excuse to grab that cup of joe this morning, you should do it.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that coming up. Plus, coming up in our next half hour, we'll be preparing you to fill out your ballot with some details behind a more than $300 million school referendum that'll be up for vote. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
For our seniors, Social Security is a sacred obligation, a sacred promise made. The current president is threatening to break that promise. He's proposing to eliminate a tax that pays for almost half the Social Security without any way of making up for that lost revenue. I will not let that happen. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I've always had jobs centered on helping people, but now with a nursing degree from Herzing University, I've made it a career.
Having a job was one thing, but having a career, to me, that meant something completely different. With a little hard work and a degree from Herzing University, anything is possible.
I'm possible at Herzing.
Welcome back. It's 6:23. Our annual Coats for Kids drive is underway this morning, and we have an update to our coat count at this hour.
A pretty impressive update at that. We are just short of 2,000 items donated now, picking up more than 300 since our last tally yesterday.
Wow.
We want to take a minute, thank everybody for taking the time to donate. And if you haven't been able to do so yet, you have plenty of time to get out there.
Yeah, the Community Action Coalition says they're expecting a bigger need than usual this year with so many families having a hard time financially with the pandemic. Be sure to check your closets, drop off the coats, hats, and gloves at any Clinky Cleaners location in the area by October 10th. Well, today is National Coffee Day, and we found a couple of deals you might want to check out to celebrate. What do we have over here?
Oh, hello.
Oh, boy.
This is our executive producer, James.
Oh, my goodness.
Apparently, he knows how to make us behave by the looks of it. We'll stay in line for this.
I needed this today, too.
Cheers. What did you get?
Cheers to you. Let's see.
Give you guys a virtual cheers.
Oh, a little pumpkin spice.
I think mine was just Hot coffee, almond milk.
James knows us best.
He does.
Love it. Well, thank you very much.
What a sweet boss.
So yeah, grab your coffee because it is National Coffee Day, and there are some deals out there right now.
Speaking of Dunkin', looks like they're handing out a free iced or hot coffee with the purchase today. They're also offering a chance to win a care package. Starbucks, meanwhile, has 5 days of freebies in store for its rewards members.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine life without coffee some mornings, especially today if you're hitting that Tuesday wall. But get this, we've been drinking coffee for 600 years now.
Whoa.
It's believed monks in Yemen brewed the first cup of Joe back in the 15th century.
Could you imagine life without coffee?
I cannot, as I'm about to take a sip here.
Oh, you and your pumpkin spice. Aaron, you're a big pumpkin spice fan too, aren't you?
You got to have a little bit of pumpkin spice. Not all the time. I'm more black coffee. That's what I have right here. I mean, that's my go-to. It's black coffee.
I like a little flavor, and usually my go-to, not in the fall, is the caramelized coffee.
He likes that caramel flavoring.
But on a cool morning like this, I need the hot coffee, and I need a lot of it.
Yeah. We're hitting the Tuesday wall, Aaron, especially with the forecast.
I was going to say, definitely hitting the wall there with the forecast, as we're going to see a lot of clouds today. Definitely grab that cup of coffee this morning, maybe even an afternoon cup as well, as we're going to see some rather cool temperatures for the day today. Temperatures into the lower 50s by about lunchtime, keeping those clouds in place, and maybe a couple spotty showers as well. Not really going to amount to anything, as these are going to be light in nature. And then we get some clear skies for part of tonight, and then more clouds will return by Wednesday. More showers also through the day on Wednesday, but otherwise we're keeping that cool weather in the forecast. Again, rainfall amounts on the lighter side as we look at the upper air pattern, showing that trough building in for the end of the week. So we got the cool temperatures today. 58 degrees will be your high. Again, more clouds for the afternoon overall, and then eventually we're going to see even cooler temperatures by the end of the week as we pull up the extended forecast here. Look at that, 33 degrees.
Ooh.
I don't know how to feel about that yet.
Lots of coffee in that forecast.
Hot,
plenty of coffee.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Stay with us, folks. Grab your cup of hot coffee. Join us for our last half hour of News 3 Now this morning.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Joe Biden isn't an epidemiologist. He's not an economist or military general. But what he is the kind of leader who listens to the experts and a candidate who has earned their support. And what he'll be is a president who leads us out of this crisis and a commander-in-chief who respects those who have served. Because Joe Biden knows this moment is not about him, but about what we can do together. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Baca Enterprises is truly humbled and thankful to all of our employees, residents, families, and vendors for their patience and cooperation.
Our employees have gone above and beyond with sanitation efforts, altering their daily routines, all while spreading joy and happiness throughout our community.
As you look forward to the future, Beaver Dam Assisted Living will be here for you.
To provide a sense of security and to provide comfort by keeping you safe and healthy.
Together, we're moving forward to help you live life with confidence. Call today to schedule your tour.
If I'm your president, on day one, we'll implement the national strategy I've been laying out since March. We'll develop and deploy rapid tests with results available immediately. We'll make the medical supplies and protective equipment that our country needs. We'll make them here in America. We'll have a national mandate to wear masks, not as a burden, but as a patriotic duty to protect one another. In short, we'll do what we should have done from the very beginning. Our current president has failed in his most basic duty to the nation. He's failed to protect America. And my fellow Americans, that is unforgivable. As president, I'll make you a promise. I'll protect America. I will defend us from every attack, seen and unseen, always, without exception, every time. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
In 1930, we began helping people in Milwaukee who were hurt and killed by the carelessness of others. Over the past 89 years, the awards for our clients totals well into the billions of dollars, probably more than all the other personal injury firms in the state combined. When you do something for so long, you tend to get pretty good at it. And we will continue that fight for justice every day in towns throughout Wisconsin. Habish, and Rotier.
Pick up the latest issue of Madison Magazine for a tale of epic proportion. Neil Heinen's Final for the Record, a look at COVID's impact on schools, and an irresistible vegan bakery. Madison Magazine, on newsstands now.
Wisconsin weather can be frustrating. Get the latest forecast, alerts, and detailed traffic reports from the News 3 Now team. On air, online, and download the Channel 3000 First Alert app. Be the first to know what's headed our way.
Breaking down your ballot, we're explaining another part of the $317 million referendum you may see on your ballots this election season.
And a big cool down is in the forecast as we head towards the end of the week. I'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on this September 29th. I'm Leah Lynchide.
And I'm Josh Ryder. Chris Stanford is on paternity leave. Kind of hitting that Tuesday wall, and our producer, James, really saving us with that coffee today.
Yeah, Chris is missing out. We got some free coffee from our boss this morning, warming us up a little bit because it's cold out there.
It is, yeah, and I feel like this is the time of year. You know I like my iced coffee, but I think this is the transition into the fall. You kind of need that warmth. Even in my apartment, it was quite cold when I woke up this morning.
No caramel macchiato for you? No ice?
No ice,
pumpkin
not today.
Spice?
I need the heat, need the warmth.
Yeah, Aaron's going to tell us just how cool it's going to get in those overnight lows. Hint, frost is coming. That's coming up in a couple of minutes. First, though, our top story today. The Madison School District is hosting another online forum to talk about its $317 million referendum.
Today's will focus on a proposed change for La Follette High School. La Follette is on Madison's southeast side, of course, and hasn't had any major renovations in more than 50 years. Here are some of those proposed improvements suggested by students and staff. They're looking to add new labs and renovating classrooms, fixing hallway congestion by expanding the building's main hallway, and several accessibility fixes. That meeting tonight starts at 5 o'clock. We'll have more complete coverage of the event on News 3 Now and at 6 and 10.
Students at Edgerton's Community Elementary School are logging into classes virtually today. They had the day off yesterday so teachers could prepare. This after a rise in positive cases in several classrooms. Edgerton is hoping to bring the kids back to the classroom physically on the 12th. Other schools in the district are still open this morning.
The Belmont Community School District is switching to virtual learning today after a second student tested positive. In a post, the superintendent says the student goes to the middle and high school buildings and rides the bus. Officials say a maintenance crew will disinfect all classrooms, common areas, and buses while kids are out of the building. The district expects to stay virtual through the end of the week. The school district of Janesville sending another school online as well. Starting tomorrow, students and staff at Adams Elementary will pivot to virtual instruction. The switch is because of staffing issues. The district says several staff members are being quarantined after learning they've been in close contact with people who have tested positive. Classes will stay online through at least next Friday.
Children make up 10% of positive COVID cases and just under 1% of all deaths. But Dr. Anthony Fauci says we should keep an eye on how our kids can spread the virus. He says it's still unclear how many cases are tied to children. Early research shows kids don't spread the virus as efficiently as adults do, especially younger kids. But he says the data is evolving and we have to keep an open mind because as more research is done, findings can evolve.
New this morning, the Wisconsin youth football assistant coach is no longer part of his team after knowingly exposing players and staff to COVID-19. The Kewaskum coach went to a scrimmage in practice even though he had symptoms and had gotten tested. The Washington Ozaukee Health Department called the coach during the first half of the game, telling him he had tested positive. The other coaches found out, told him to leave, then immediately canceled the scrimmage. The county executive says the teams took the right steps, but not the coach who tested positive.
A coach who's supposed to be there serving these kids, helping them to grow as young men, makes a decision like this and exposes, of course, terribly their health, but then also potentially their season and their education if they have to be vet quarantined.
The coach isn't being named yet, according to the Journal Sentinel. The coach's team is made up of 5th through 8th graders.
Now, we've talked a lot over these last couple of months about the risk to students of falling behind this fall while learning virtually, especially if they struggle to get the technology they need. Now, a laptop shortage from some of the world's biggest companies isn't helping out. The world's 3 biggest companies, Lenovo, HP, and Dell, have a shortage of nearly 5 million laptops. Axios reports many schools ordered child-friendly technology like Chromebooks back in the spring to keep classes virtual this fall, but order backlogs are pushing some of those arrival dates as late as October. Those shortages now have schools scrambling to adapt to what kids might have lying around at home.
Looking ahead, the federal government will start sending millions of rapid coronavirus tests to the states this week. It'll be up to the governors to distribute them however they want, but President Trump wants the 150 million tests to be used on students and teachers. This would greatly expand U.S. testing at a time where COVID cases are starting to spike in the Midwest and more surges could come in the colder months ahead. The tests will go out to the states based on population. 6.5 million of them are expected to go out this week. One of the FDA's top vaccine officials says stricter vaccine guidance might not be released because of objections from the White House. Earlier this month, the FDA said the agency would raise the bar for emergency use of a COVID vaccine closer to the standard for full approval. But last week, the president said he might not approve it. Politico reports the FDA will still insist on seeing clinical trials through for any shot that gets emergency authorization. There are a handful of phase 3 trials happening right now. 2 are close to full enrollment.
New this morning, the CDC wants you to enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey in front of a screen this year. To prevent COVID from spreading, the CDC says staying at home and doing Thanksgiving virtually is the best idea. The agency recommends families skip travel altogether and have smaller dinners with people only living in the same household. The CDC says, though, you could deliver your traditional meals for family or neighbors who are at higher risk of getting sick from COVID-19 so they can still enjoy some of the holiday traditions.
A lot of changes this year, and we kind of figured the holidays were going to be some of them.
Remember when we thought it was just going to be Easter?
Remember when it was just going to be a month?
Oh, my goodness.
It was like, we'll just get through this.
Life is changed.
How many months into this? Yeah, and hopefully, I know even next year people are hopeful, but I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of this next year too.
Hey, at least we have the technology available to meet over the screen.
Yeah, I was thinking, can you imagine like even 20 years ago when we didn't have like all of the video chats we have right now? It would have been really hard.
Right.
Things are a lot more simple these days, but we'll get through it. Just got to lean on those around us. All right, let's take a check of the forecast. Aaron White in for Hattie this morning. Beautiful shot of the Edgewater Skycam, Aaron.
Yeah, looking really nice this morning as we have the sun coming up. Just a few low clouds this morning, and that's going to be the trend for at least the next couple of hours. But clouds are going to overspread the area through the day, and eventually we're going to see the chance for a couple showers coming in this afternoon, but still looking pretty nice this morning. It is on the cool side, though. Our temperatures are down into the lower 40s, 43 now in Madison, and across southern Wisconsin, we are in the 40s. 47 in Boscobel, 45 in Lone Rock, 42, though, in the Dells. And look at Juneau dropping down to the 30s, 39 degrees this morning as you're waking up, 43 in Janesville. And as we look at the bus stop forecast, as the kids are heading off to school this morning, we are going to see temperatures staying into the 40s, eventually warming up to about 55 degrees by around lunchtime. Again, a few showers coming in for the afternoon. Otherwise, just a cool day. Definitely have the jacket around as a high of only 58 degrees. We're going to keep that cool weather in the forecast for much of the week and into the weekend. A few showers will be possible through Thursday. They are going to be light in nature, so not looking at a total washout. Just maybe want to have the jacket handy. You're probably not going to need the umbrella as the showers are going to be light and really not going to last long at all. The other story for the end of the week is the potential for some frost going into the start of the weekend. This morning, no frost across Wisconsin. We are dry as well, but that's going to change by the afternoon as we see here on Future Track clouds overspreading southern Wisconsin through the afternoon. Notice Future Track popping up a couple blips there. Some showers likely around 5 o'clock or so. Those are going to kick out of here, but I think another round of showers will be moving in by Wednesday morning. I think we'll get a little bit more sunshine, though, through the day on Wednesday as well. Rainfall amounts are going to be on the light side, so that's the good news. But otherwise, we're going to see that trough build in for the end of the week. And look at our temperatures as we head towards Thursday. 53 degrees for a high, only 50 on Friday and Saturday. We have that alert day in the forecast now for the potential of that widespread frost and freeze as we're dropping down to about 33 degrees. Some areas may be in the upper 20s, so this would be our first widespread freeze of the fall season.
Yeah, something to watch this weekend for sure. Aaron, thank you very much. The first presidential debate between Democratic nominee Joe Biden and President Trump will happen tonight. Fox News anchor Chris Wallace will be monitoring that debate, and we'll cover these 5 topics you see right here. Both candidates' records, the Supreme Court, the coronavirus pandemic, economic policy, racism, and the integrity of the election. Each topic will have 15 minutes of conversation. The Commission on Presidential Debates says Wallace won't be expected to fact-check check any of the candidates. If someone says something incorrect on stage, it will be the other candidate's job to point it out. And that's a big part of what Biden's strategy will be. His advisors tell Axios he'll challenge Trump on any falsehoods. President Trump, meanwhile, plans to push a tough message to attract voters in swing states like Wisconsin. The 90-minute debate won't have any commercial breaks and will air live tonight at 8 o'clock. You can watch it right here on News 3 Now.
New this morning, the FBI has a warning for voters with election season in full swing. They say foreign actors and cyber criminals are spreading misinformation online to try and make elections seem like they're unsafe and undermine confidence in democratic institutions in the U.S. The FBI says it's important to get your information from trustworthy sources and verify who that information is coming from. They say state and local election officials are the best places to look for information about voter registration and voting systems. And happening today, Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett will start meeting with Senate Republicans. Politico reports one of the judge's first meetings will be with Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. She'll also meet with several other Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, including Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and Chuck Grassley. Several Senate Democrats have already said they will not meet with her. The Judiciary Committee will start Barrett's confirmation hearings in less than 2 weeks.
6:40 is your time this morning, and taking a look at your first warn traffic as you head out the door right now. Drive times looking very good today. We haven't seen any problems out there. Look at the maps across Madison right now. A couple of more heavy delays up by the Madison Airport. East Wash looking a little slow in and out of downtown, and starting to see a few brake lights on Park Street as well as you approach the West Washington area. You can see, though, Beltline moving along just fine this morning. That is a look at your first warn traffic. Let's take a live look outside at 6:40. Starting to see a little daylight out there and a few broken clouds, but we aren't going to see much sunshine for your Tuesday. Aaron White will have details on that and just how cool we're going to be staying in the forecast.
And if fantasy football isn't quite your thing, we have just the bracket for you. It's Bat Bear Week.
What?
We're going to explain the quirky competition when we return.
Help you create your family's recipe for health. SSM Health and News 3 Now are making it easy by putting all the ingredients right at your fingertips. With topics like healthy habits, nutrition, and mental well-being, there's something for everyone. Visit Channel 3000's Time for Kids page for advice from SSM Health experts. And catch fresh and informative reports on News 3 Now.
Take Time for Kids with SSM Health and News 3 Now.
A woman who was young had COVID-19. I remember her because she had a bracelet that had the names of her children. She asked me, "Doctor, am I going to be okay?" And I could not give her the answer that I wanted to give her. There's no excuse for why we don't have this under control at this point. Joe Biden listens to medical experts. He actually has a plan that does the things that we should have been doing many months ago. And Joe Biden is not going to let his ego get in the way of fighting the disease.
FFPAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
Don't miss out on these great deals at Govan Cars Grand Opening Sale. You can buy 2016 or 2017 Dodge Grand Caravans well equipped for only $10,995 or $175 per month.
That's right. Buy a 2016 or 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan very well equipped starting at $10,995 or $175 per month. So just hurry in today and ask for my dad, Don the Dealman Govan.
Or my daughter, Crystal the Pistol Govan.
You gotta go to Govan, GovanCars.com.
This is our chance to put the darkness of the past 4 years behind us, to end the anger, the insults, the division, and start fresh in America.
I don't pledge allegiance to red states of America or blue states of America. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. I'm going to fight as hard for those who supported me as those who did not support me. We have a chance to put anger and division that overtaken this country behind us, and we can. We've done it so many times in our history. We've begun anew. We can get control of this virus. We can reward work. We can make healthcare affordable. We can be a safe and just nation. We can deal with the existential threat of climate change. We can be what we are at our best. One nation, one people, one America. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Breast cancer didn't stop when the world shut down, and now those in the fight need us more than ever.
That's why the Susan G. Komen, Wisconsin More Than Pink Walk is going virtual.
Join News 3 Now October 24th and walk where you are.
Every step you take brings us closer to a world without breast cancer.
Visit ColemanWisconsin.org to register and raise funds.
Then lace up October 24th for the Komen Virtual More Than Pink Walk.
Welcome back at 6:44. It's that time of the year again. The leaves are changing. It's getting colder and it's getting darker earlier.
And it also means it's time for the best week of the year. That's right, it's Fat Bear Week. The annual online competition has been made famous by the Katmai National Park and Preserve in Alaska. Every year they put out a matchup bracket pairing the chubby bears head-to-head. Of course, in order for bears to hibernate in a healthy way, they have to pack on the pounds. Makes sense.
Last year's winner was 435 Holly, and she's already got a re-election campaign going. There she is. She promises that a vote for her means a salmon in every paw.
Oh, yeah.
The winner will be crowned 1 week from today.
So the newsroom is taking part in this bracket. I chose a little guy, maybe not so little guy, named Grazer because I can really relate.
And I'm going for a big guy named Chunky.
Josh and I picked the best names. The rest of them just have numbers.
Yeah.
Which I hope doesn't translate to pounds because one was 735.
Oof.
Those are some big guys.
At least I think with bears, like, I don't know, do they have weight problems? Is there such a thing?
You know, our executive producer was saying earlier, don't fat shame these bears. We have to remind folks, this is healthy. This is, you got to do this to survive.
They're just getting ready for winter, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like us, you know, my boyfriend always says that this is the growing season. He's like, we don't have to worry about the, you know, beach bodies anymore. It's growing season.
Especially with the forecast that Aaron has, it's time to gain a little weight.
Put on the pounds.
Yeah, warm it up.
Yeah, might as well, right? You know, do that, grab some coffee, whatever you need to do to stay warm as we go through today, tomorrow, honestly, right on through the weekend as we're going to see those cool temperatures in the forecast. A lot of clouds, maybe a little bit of sunshine as we head into your Wednesday. This morning, though, we're in the 40s to start, 50s by around lunchtime, but we're only going to stay in the upper 50s for highs today, so definitely have that jacket around as well. We're going to see a few spotty showers moving through. Rainfall amounts are going to be on the light side, so that's the good news about this. But the bad news for the forecast is the end of the week as we see that trough really building in across the eastern U.S. And we're going to be really affected by it as we see some rather cool temperatures. We're talking about the potential for our first frost and or freeze going into Friday night and Saturday morning. Look at that temperature dropping down to 33 degrees. Get ready for it. But the thing about it is it's close to about when we typically see our first widespread frost and freeze here across southern Wisconsin.
So we shouldn't be acting like we're so surprised. It is almost October.
It's just always that shock, right? That first time, it's like...
The first time, yeah. Same with like the first snow, although I feel like the first snow is always the pretty one, and then it's just like, let's just get it out of here.
All downhill. Yeah. Unless you're Chris Reese, then it's like you could get snow in July.
Any time of the year.
Love it. All right, Aaron, thank you. Stick around, folks. The morning sprint is coming up after the break.
But first, September 29th, and we want to say happy birthday to Madison and all the other kids turning 3 today. Aww. Madison, I love your name. We'll be right back with more News 3 Now this morning.
News 3 is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
Get more for your kitchen now at the Brothers Main Big Kitchen Upgrade Sale. We want you to absolutely love your new kitchen, so you'll get big, big savings on the latest incredible products from GE and our risk-free 30-day price satisfaction guarantee. We want you to be 100% satisfied every time. That's why we're the More Store. The Big Kitchen Upgrade Sale with more selection, more savings, and more kitchen. Now at the Brothers Main, your local store for more since 1938.
Let's start walking. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on,
Right now, you can get 0.9% financing for 60 months on a spacious new 2020 Toyota Highlander or Highlander Hybrid. Toyota, let's go places.
The Social Security Administration just released a report saying that if a plan like the one Trump is proposing goes into effect, the Social Security Trust Fund would be, and I quote, permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023. Put it plainly, Trump's plan would wipe out Social Security. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
It's the mattress sale you don't want to miss. The A1 Back and Better Than Ever sale on now. With savings of up to 40% on top brand mattresses. Get a Nectar or Dream Cloud. The only mattresses with a 365-night guarantee and a lifetime warranty. Plus tax included on every purchase over $499. And for qualified customers, 48 months free financing. Most in-store items available for immediate pickup or delivery. One location only. Stoughton Road, Madison. Don't miss the A1 Back and Better Than Ever sale on now.
You've been dreaming about this car since you were 8 policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
Download the Channel 3000 app today.
6:50, time for the morning sprint.
More than 1 million people have now died from COVID-19. More than 200,000 of those are Americans. The first known COVID-19 related death happened in the Chinese city of Wuhan back on January 9th. The world reached 500,000 deaths less than 6 months later. It took just 3 months to double it. The U.S., Brazil, India, and Mexico make up for more than half of those deaths globally.
The 2-week positivity rate of COVID cases in Wisconsin is still rising this morning. 1 in 5 people who got tested yesterday are now confirmed to have COVID-19. That's a lower rate than what we saw on Sunday. Wisconsin has now notched more than 2,000 new daily cases for 5 days in a row. More than 16% of the state's 118,000 confirmed cases are still active.
On the UW-Madison campus, there are now nearly 3,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19. That includes more than 2,900 students and 54 employees. The 7-day positivity rate for students tested on campus only is at 2.3%.
A small percentage of people who disregard the public health recommendations can really have a big impact on not only themselves, but the rest of us.
Area doctors are worried about the increasing positivity rate in Wisconsin as we get closer to flu season. Wisconsin's mask mandate and social distancing recommendations are similar to what other states are doing, which leads local doctors to think it's our behavior causing the surge. Dr. Jeff Potoff says UW Health has seen more people ending up in their hospitals, but nothing of concern yet.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin will meet this morning. They're expected to discuss the Democrats' new scaled-back stimulus proposal. The new plan is more than $1 trillion less than their original proposal passed in May, but the price tag still too high for what the White House wants. The House Democrats' new plan includes another round of stimulus payments, money for the U.S. Postal Service, and $75 billion for COVID testing and contact tracing.
The Trump administration still hasn't said how many refugees could be allowed into the U.S. when the new fiscal year starts on Thursday. A delay in the decision could leave thousands of those seeking refuge in limbo. The administration sets a cap for how many refugees to admit each year. The number historically fluctuates. According to World Events, just over 9,000 refugees have been admitted to the U.S. as of August 31st. That's half of this year's cap, which is 18,000.
New this morning, we now know the UW system's failed search for a new system president cost more than $215,000. The State Journal reports the system won't be able to recoup that money because of its contract with the company that organized the search. A UW system spokesperson tells the State Journal a renegotiation can't happen because it's not customary. A new search is expected to cost at least the same amount. Your email, your Outlook account should be back up and running this morning after a massive outage yesterday. People weren't able to log into several Microsoft services for most of the day. Microsoft says the company doesn't think hackers caused the crash, but they are still working to figure out exactly what happened.
Breaking overnight, Kentucky's Attorney General will release the recording of Breonna Taylor's grand jury proceedings to the court tomorrow. Since the proceedings will be submitted to the court, it will eventually be accessible to the public. The decision comes after an anonymous juror said Cameron misrepresented the jury's process. Former detective Brett Hankinson is facing charges for endangering Taylor's neighbors. Neither of the two officers who shot Taylor are facing charges directly tied to her death.
A New York City judge is ordering a review into the city's handling of Eric Garner's arrest and death. Gwen Carr, Garner's mother, wants to be able to question officials as part of an inquiry into potential violations. The officer seen holding Garner in a chokehold before he died in 2014 was given a disciplinary trial in 2019. A judge found he committed grave misconduct and recommended he be fired. He was never criminally charged.
The average black family has less than 15% of the wealth of white families despite economic gains over the past 3 years. The Federal Reserve finds the median wealth of white families in 2019 was $188,000 compared to just $24,000 for black families. Economists say the gap is tied to systemic inequities playing out over a lifetime and across generations.
A pro-police caravan could affect your commute home from work today. People in DeForest will start lining up their cars at the state police headquarters around 3:30. They'll then drive through some nearby neighborhoods and end up at the police station. It's expected to last just a couple of hours.
Former Badger Ryan McDonough is a Stanley Cup champion this morning. It's his first title in his 13-year career in the NHL. McDonough's Tampa Bay Lightning played against the Dallas Stars, which also had a Badger on its team. Joe Pavelski tied 3 goals in 2 games, but it wasn't enough to help his team win the title. The Lightning win it in 6, making McDonough the 14th Badger to win the Stanley Cup. Congratulations to him. Let's take a look at your first warn traffic right now on a Tuesday morning. Things off to a great start out there. We haven't had any issues on the road so far. Looking at the Madison maps right now, starting to see a few more backups along Park Street near West Washington and a couple of slowdowns along East Washington Avenue as well. Beltline, though, moving along at posted speeds this morning. That's your first warn traffic.
And as you're heading out the door this morning, temperatures are on the cool side to start the day into the lower 40s. We will see an increase in cloud cover through the morning hours into the afternoon as well, and those highs into the upper 50s. Also note we may see a few spotty showers passing on through, but rainfall amounts today not really going to amount to that much, generally under 1/10 of an inch. But as we head towards the end of the week, that's when that trough builds in and ushering in some much cooler conditions by Thursday and Friday. Today's high, 58 degrees. But as we look at the extended forecast, look at that, 50 degrees on Friday and Saturday. Overnight lows down into the 30s, so we may see some frost as we head into Saturday morning.
All right, Aaron, thank you, and thanks for joining us. Grab that extra cup of Joe this morning. Enjoy National Coffee Day. Make it a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.